I want you guys to, instead of fill in the blank, fill in the bracket. Who do you have winning each conference final? And then give me an early cup final prediction. Let's see if you can shoot your shot from this far out. Frank, what do you got?
So I got the Golden Knights in 6.
Okay.
And I've got the Hurricanes in 7. I'm the only person on dailyfaceoff.com staff to pick the Golden Knights to win the West.
Wow.
Which is kind of interesting. I'm 6-6 so far in the playoffs. So then that leaves Carolina and Vegas. And I'm going to take Carolina in 7.
All right. So our friends at Botano do have odds up for correctly picking the cup final and the result right now. So Knights over Canes, it pays plus 450. Jason, what do you got?
So what? No, I have Canes over Knights.
Oh, sorry. Canes over Knights pays plus 400.
That's not enough to get me excited.
Okay.
4-1 on the money. Is it enough for you? You got to get so much. You got to get 3 series in a row. It's basically a 3-series parlay, and you're only getting 4-1 on your odds.
Botano does have that as the most likely outcome at plus 400. So,
oh well, then F me then for being so non-original.
Jason, what do you got?
I have the exact opposite. Actually, I have the Panthers winning in 6, and I have Dallas in 7. Because if the series goes 7, they don't lose. They got Mr. Game 7 as a head coach. So I will go Dallas and Florida, and then I have the Florida Panthers winning their first ever Stanley Cup.
I don't know if we could see it any more differently than this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Frank picked the number 1 slot on the odds board, and Jason went with what Botano has as the least likely outcome, which is Panthers beating the Stars at 9-1. That's worth it.
Well, hey, Botano, once I'm right, feel free to give me a call next time for your odds.
I just had to eat my words, because I was about to say, if the Panthers beat the Stars to win the Stanley Cup and Sergei Bobrovsky is hoisting the Stanley Cup, that I will eat cat food, but I'm not going to say it.
9-1. That's not good enough odds to lay that kind of thing out there.
Oh, I look at Florida. I think Florida's beaten 2 way better teams to get to where they are compared to Carolina. It's not Carolina's fault. You got to play who's put in front of you. But the Florida Panthers, Bobrovsky's lights out right now. Matthew Tkachuk's playing great. Verhaeghe, Ekblad, Montour. I like the top end talent more in Florida.
That's totally fair.
Although getting Teravainen back is definitely going to help Carolina, no question.
Up next, they also have Conn Smythe Trophy odds up there. So based off your pick, blank will win the Conn Smythe, Jason.
God. Well, it's a 2-horse race for Florida. So goalie Bob or Tkachuk. You know what? Every now and then the league needs a villain. Let's get the villain. You know, a lot of fan bases hate him.
Villain. So, he's a media darling.
Let's go to Matthew Tkachuk.
He's a media darling, and you know who votes. So,
Tkachuk is
goalie Bob, though, would be very deserving. The way if goalie Bob has 2 more rounds like this, he could easily win.
Yep. Tkachuk tied for the top spot in Conn Smythe odds at 7-1. Bobrovsky is in the next tier down at 9-1.
So it's funny.
So the best. My guess is that the tie with Tkachuk is Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel and Sebastian Aho.
Oh. Well, that's a weenie way to do the odds.
Oh. I don't know what to tell you. I don't make them. Frank, what do you have? Who's your Conn Smythe pick?
My Conn Smythe pick through the first 2 rounds was Jack Eichel. If the Golden Knights I'd be surprised unless there's some kind of incredible dominant performance again that someone wins the Conn Smythe in a losing fashion. It's been a while since we've had that. But I think the thing for the Canes is if I have the Canes winning the cup, there isn't anyone that I know Sebastian Aho has.
Jordan Martinook.
Don't even. Tyler did this yesterday on Daily Face-Off Live, and I was like, come on, man.
But I love that storyline.
It's an amazing story, but even Jordan Martinook is like, sorry, I don't have any explanation for why this is happening.
Well, no, nor should he, but it's unbelievable, man. So I love the playoffs. It's so unpredictable.
No one understands
2 points a game in a series. Are you kidding me?
So I don't know. Is there a chance if it's Canes Golden Knights and the Canes win that someone from the Golden Knights wins it in a losing fashion?
The Canes aren't winning, so just pick someone else.
Okay.
That's
just so everyone is clear, I had the Canes in the Stanley Cup final from October, so from Jump Street. So I feel like I have to stick with them.
Fair. My two picks, by the way, I'm going with the Stars to beat the Panthers at 9-1, and my favorite Conn Smythe pick is Rupe Hintz at 10-1. So it goes.
Rupe.
You got
Good
Eichel
player, man. Really good player.
at 7-1. Anderson, Bobrovsky 9-1. Ottinger, Stone, and Hintz round out the rest of the group at 10-1 on the odds board. Also, while I'm scrolling here on Botano, they do have odds up on Connor Bedard going first overall in the NHL draft. If you were to wager $1,000 on it, you would profit $1. So, easy way to make a buck, maybe. Never mind.
Literally to make a buck.
What about? Do they have odds to pick the top 3?
Yeah, they have odds for second overall, which is Adam Fantilli, and he's obviously a massive favorite as well, but they don't have odds on third overall.
Yeah, so I wonder, this is just a dumb hypothetical. Like, I wonder if is there like a limit on how much you can wager on that? Like, if you went to Vegas and you said, I want to bet 2.5, your Mattress Mac, and I want to bet $2.5 million that the Blackhawks will take Connor Bedard. Like, obviously the payout isn't good, but it's literally free money.
Yeah, there's got to be a limit. I bet you if you went, they would not allow that to go through.
Okay.
I think it's just, kind of there.
Well, if you bet 10 grand, you get $10. So if you bet 100 grand, you get $100, right? If I'm doing the math correctly. So basically, if I bet $1 million, I'm getting. So yeah, if you bet $2.5 million, Frank, you'd make 2,500. Yeah, they're probably going to max it for sure somewhere.
Yeah, that's dumb. But.
All right, third one I got for you. Conference finals is when we find out who the GM of the year candidates are. So I'll throw you guys this one. Blank would be your pick for GM of the year, Jason.
Whew.
That's a good question.
Yeah, see, they always do. The GM is always someone in the conference finals. So
you can almost bet that of the 4 teams in the conference final, 3 of the GMs will be the finalists.
So out of that, who made the biggest offseason acquisition? It's pretty obvious. Bill Zito. So I will go with Bill Zito.
Fair.
And for the record, I don't like that they wait to vote on it when you get to the conference finals. It's lame. Let's just go who's ever in the conference final. But I will say Bill Zito.
I think that's the third thing I've said this week on this pod that it is a weenie move. I love calling anything a weenie move.
It's your word, yeah.
It is, yeah. I will say I think you're right that Bill Zito will win. I think the people that also deserve consideration for this year outside of the Final Four, people don't. Jim Nill will also be a finalist, and I don't think people recognize the contractual situation that the Stars were in or fully appreciate it, with Jason Robertson in the last couple of days before the regular season and Jake Ottinger getting done this summer. Like, there was a lot of work to do, and they navigated that quite well. He should get some points for that. Tom Fitzgerald with the New Jersey Devils.
Like, if you just look at calendar years, because I don't care what they did the year before. From July 1st until now, if you look at a GM whose job is to improve his team and do it in a fashion where he didn't give up a whole bunch, you look at the moves Ken Holland made, they're pretty solid. The Klim Kostin trade was a steal, right? Bjugstad, Ekholm,
I would go Ron Francis though before I went.
That was going to be my pick.
Yeah, I'm not saying Holland's not going to be a finalist at all. I'm just saying a guy who had a good year is in the GM chair.
And I think that was one of the things that really annoyed me about the way that what we talked about on Monday's podcast sort of twisted in the next direction, was that somehow whatever we were saying about Steve Staios was a knock or a shot on Ken Holland. Like, no, the Oilers were thrilled with the deadline that he had. And no one is trying to push Ken Holland out. This is more just about the idea of protecting someone that has a future to be a GM. And the Oilers need a succession plan in general. Ken Holland has 1 year left on his deal. He has sort of openly said to people that this is his last year. So then what's the plan 1 year from now as you're sitting in the same exact spot, facing an even bigger offseason with Leon Draisaitl needing a new contract? Like, to not have the conversation now, to me, seems a little crazy. But that was a huge tangent from the GM of the year.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, Francis was going to be my pick as well. I'd love to see them pick someone outside of the top.
Yeah, it would be nice.
By the way, like I know you said Bill Zito is going to win, but can we go back a second in time and recognize fully that the Florida Panthers lost their way into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like if the Pittsburgh Penguins don't absolutely spit the bit against the New York Islanders, we are not even talking. No, it was against the Blackhawks, right? Sorry.
Yes, 5-2.
The Islanders did their own thing where they gagged on it. If that doesn't happen, a loss to the Blackhawks on home ice, we're literally talking about the Panthers sitting at home right now.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's why the voting, when they vote for it, Frank, you asked me to pick who not who I think's deserving, who I think's going to win.
Yeah, 100%. All right, that is a wrap on this week's edition of Fill in the Blank.